this is the fucking gospel, okay? To say that I feel you, especially like I've gained weight over the last couple years, and one of the first places that I gained weight is in my breasts. And so they have expanded, and I'm just like, okay, just want to like casually wear a D cup now. This is cute. You know, who loves that? Not really me, but okay. And when you're having, when you have large breasts, and I mean like, my breasts are still, I think, on the very small scale. Like, honestly, because if you're out here talking about like E cups, F cups, G cups, onomatopoeia cups. Basically, if you got big titties, you will literally choke yourself out just trying to do a fucking bridge pose. And I mean, the reality is like, someone who's flat chested is not even gonna know that that's a thing. So like, it's no shade. It's not like, I'm not of the belief that everyone needs to know what it's like to practice in everyone else's body. Like, this is controversial yoga opinion. Controversial modern yoga opinion. I think that everyone needs to really learn what it is like to be in their own body. Focus on trying to be in your fucking body, and then you actually can communicate to a lot of people how to be in their bodies by being in your body. That's not what we're talking about. The actual question was about what to do with large breasts when practicing, and my trick I learned from Amber Karn. She did a video about it. It's on YouTube. This is like years ago, but basically it's putting a yoga strap over at your bust line. Like, I wish I had one handy. Instead I'm sitting out here. Actually, maybe I could find something. Hang on. Okay. Oh yeah, now you can really see my Spice Girl shirt. Okay. Oh yeah, put it on their faces. Okay, that's fun. Wait, look at Cherry. She was like, didn't she do something? Okay, wait. No, wait. Now I gotta do it with. I'm gonna show the thing. I'm kind of showing it, but I just want to see Mel B. Oh fuck yeah. Okay, here queer, ready to get to the point. Okay, so this is the setup. Take a yoga strap and wrap it over your bust line. So like, I kind of pulled mine down a little bit so that so that it feels good for me, but you kind of adjust it to what makes the most sense. Literally, this isn't even a yoga strap. I'm pretty sure this is a belt. So like, you just wrap it around your chest, and like, maybe I can show it from the back. Well, you can't really. It's like in a fat roll, but that's great because the point is for it to constrict, and it pushes your bust line down. My nipples are they're down to the floor, but like, who gives a fuck? They're going there anyway. So like, it just pulls the energy away from your neck and your throat, and it feels a lot better. Okay, I have a lot more thoughts about this. Okay, but the reality of the situation is that sometimes you don't feel like doing all these shenanigans trying to get these titties clamped down. And I mean, this coming from someone who's like, I've never worn more than a D cup, and like, I don't tend to take very good care of myself. Like, to be quite honest, I'm outside, it's like 60 degrees or less, I'm not wearing a coat. Like, I've been known to wear a flip-flop in the summer, which, don't send your black children to boarding school with white kids. Anyway, point is, I don't always take care of myself, so I don't know if I'm the best person to ask about this. So if you have like triple G's, this might be the move constantly. But there are many situations where you might just be like, actually, I don't feel like grabbing a yoga strap or whatever, so like, what's my next move? This is my next move. Actually, I need to take this off in order to do it, so. Okay, so I like to touch myself really intimately, and I've realized over time that not everyone feels that way. A lot of us were taught to hate ourselves, so like, we think we're not supposed to touch our bodies. I'm not here to have a philosophical conversation about that, to be honest, but everything else that I feel is helpful for me with my, like, honestly not that big breasts, it's gonna be like relatively intimate. But my biggest thing is just constantly smoothing my hand down my neck. Like, if I'm in bridge pose, or if I'm in a forward fold is another place where you might get choked out. Plow pose has always been the biggest pose for me where this happens. There's a lot of different shapes where, like, it's basically anything where you're like moving where your chin and your chest are coming together for whatever reason. But So in bridge pose specifically, a huge part of that posture is like relaxing the chin away from the chest and trying to consciously make that adjustment so that even if you don't have large breasts, that same action is very challenging. And it's very, so if it's like, maybe you don't want to be groping yourself in a class full of people, like, I feel you. I would act differently, but I feel you. Actual shape, it's about the ideas that they bring up for us. So trying to work around that for me means constantly, like, if I really feel like I can't get there with just relaxing my throat, then like putting my hand in my bra, moving my breasts around, smoothing the throat, smoothing down the chest, moving them in either direction. Like, this is one reason why it's helpful to like practice at home with the underbelly, or like if you feel like, fuck, I can't breathe, like, that's the sensation I think that it's meant to create so that you can work through what it means to breathe in that shape. This coming back to that, the postures aren't really about like the action with whatever online yoga resource you use, or like you, because if you solidify it when you're at home, then you can take those principles into a studio. So I feel like even if you practice in studios, in forward fold specifically, I feel like that, like, whether it's a seated forward fold, if it's a reclined forward fold, if it's a standing forward fold, if it's a, is that all forward fold? Yeah, I think, yeah. Okay, so yeah. And I guess like if it's a reclined forward fold, it's not really a forward fold, it's a straddle. This is my thing when forward folding, is to just separate my legs as much as possible and literally put my flesh in between my legs. Like, pick the shit up, put it in. Like in a standing forward fold especially, it's like rotating the inner thighs out. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty much always out. And then like sliding my belly into place. And then like really making space for that, because once the belly has more space, then the breasts can swing a little bit more free. And then also in that shape, constantly like extending through the crown of the head or through the back of the head, through the back of the neck, pulling up through the upper palate, like doing all of these things to make space in the neck and in the head. Wild, dude. Like beneath fat, beneath layers of fat, beneath the fucking muscles and tendons and shit, it's just a bunch of bones strung together. Like if you could just like pull the neck out, pulling the head out, honestly, out of the spine, so that the throat can relax and the breath can flow through more easily, and then the breast can just sort of slide into place. Whew, that was active. But like the skeleton is fucking pull the chin out, then the breast can like fly free. Okay. I could really sit here and talk about this all day, because I just went back and looked at that so that I could caption it, and I was like, oh, but I want to say this about the shoulder blades, and oh, I want to say this, that, and the other thing. And so maybe one day I'll do a book of just like all the adjustments that I think should be noted. But until then, just subscribe to the Underbelly. I talk about all of this shit on there. So that's, if you want to nerd the fuck out, click. Actually, I probably haven't talked about the big titty shit that much, because I was at that moment that I would have mentioned it, trying to both breathe and do the postures and teach a yoga class on camera at the same time. So like, my bad that I hadn't talked about this particular issue before. But I do a lot of the cueing on the underbelly, particularly that is about manipulating bodily flesh, has come from my realizations and my reminders for myself about how to basically just reminding myself that it's okay to touch myself. Like, it's okay to, in the same way that I would step my feet apart or that I would bring my arms apart, it's okay to move my breasts into a different place, or to pick up my belly fat, or to pick up my ass fat, pick up my thigh meat, like move it around. And in that process, there is such a loving gesture to the self. It is so powerful to, instead of being like approaching my body with angst and being like, oh my God, I'm so mad that you're even here. Like, I hate my arms. I'm mad that I have to move this flesh out of the way. Like, oh, like if I was smaller, I wouldn't have to move my belt. talked so fucking long that my phone's about to die, but the last thing I wanted to say is that I think it's a lot easier to do all of this flesh manipulation and intimate touch if you're wearing not that many clothes, because like as close to naked as possible, honestly, because when you wear exercise clothes, like it's gym clothes, it's meant to compress your body to some degree. Even when it's loose, it's meant to pull shit together. So it's hard to separate and isolate your bodily flesh and your body parts if your shit is being compressed together. And I mean, this kind of also goes into how yoga, in my opinion, is not fitness. It's not the gym. So it makes sense that gym clothes would not be the best thing. And like, if you look at classical yoga practitioners, they frequently practice as close to naked as possible. So I would argue that it's for this reason. Also, the people frequently hide. Anyway, I gotta go.